Hello and welcome to Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland, joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland of Mississippi Today. Dad, how was the weekend?
Weekend was fine. I was a little bit disappointed for Ole Miss. I thought they played a great game. But I got to watch the game with our guest last week, Tim Floyd. I learned a lot of basketball just in watching the game with him. So many nuances that I really didn't think about.
Yeah. Well, we want to talk about the Rebels today. We're going to wrap the college basketball season, at least for Mississippi, talk about the Final Four a little bit. I'm going to get a rundown of where we stand in the college baseball standings for the Big Three. But, Dad, I want to start with the scene last night. We're recording this Tuesday morning. The scene last night in Tampa, where Jake Mangum, who's a friend of the show, joined us a couple of times now, went 4 for 4 with a double, 3 singles, stole 2 bases, basically won the game for him. And at the end,
the fans were chanting, "Mangum, Mangum, Mangum." Tyler, I know I've been happy for Mississippi athletes a lot in the past, but I cannot remember the last time that I was so proud of somebody because of his perseverance, and he just never gave up. I'm not surprised. All he needed was an opportunity, and he finally got it, and I promise you he's going to run with it.
Well, as you wrote last week, they were kind of waiting for him to develop some kind of power. And he has. I mean, he's got a little pop to it. I mean, he had a ground rule double.
Well, the ground rule double was to the opposite field.
Yeah.
I mean, he went the other way and hit a ground rule double. As a matter of fact, Tyler, he got hits last night from the left side and the right side.
Right.
He's a switch hitter. I mean, it is just incredible to me that it's taken this long for somebody to give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
The thing about it, and not to belabor the point, but baseball has just changed so much. I wrote today, I do a monthly newsletter that comes out for Mississippi Today members on the 1st of every month, and I wrote today that if Willie Keeler, a baseball Hall of Famer, was alive today, he's the guy that famously, he said, hit them where they ain't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem today is he might never get a chance to hit them at all in the big leagues because he was a singles, doubles hitter.
Yeah. Well, a lot of teams are relying on the home run at this point, and station to station. I mean, and that's the introduction of sabermetrics and all that.
Well, here's the deal on that, and I understand what the computer says a home run is the biggest thing in baseball, but a home run is 1 run. If 2 guys ahead of you get singles, it's 3 runs.
Right. Well, I mean, I've always thought there's room in baseball for a guy who, can hit for high average or get on base at a higher clip, but not, maybe hit 20 home runs in a season, which I'm excited to see how this goes throughout the course of the season. Give him a season to work with. So far, I mean, they've played 4 games. He's started 2 of them. Hopefully he'll get a chance to, get a bigger sample size. And, I think he could do some damage for them.
Well, how about this? Is there a place in baseball for a guy who hits from both sides, plays all 3 outfield positions, is a great fielder, a great base runner, a great teammate?
Got room for one of those in Atlanta, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, they could use anybody who could hit 200 right now.
Well, they have. It's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say it. I was going to save it for later, but we'll do it now. The Braves are 0-5 to start the season. Their leading hitter, Jurickson Profar, is the only guy on the team hitting over 200. He's hitting 200. And he just got himself an 80-game suspension for performance-enhancing drugs.
If you could not write, Stephen King could not write a worse nightmare start to a baseball season unless it involved a plane crash.
Right. Well, it was Yeah, it's been rough so far. I think the starting rotation is going to be okay, barring any injuries. The bullpen has been absolutely atrocious, and as I previously mentioned, now the leading hitter who's eligible to play immediately is hitting 179.
And the best player on the team is still not playing. And the best pitcher on the team is still not pitching.
Right. I know it's a small sample size, but I did catch myself Googling the worst start in Major League history just to see. And it auto-completed for me when I said, has a team ever gone 0 and 162? So I'm hoping that is a thing of the past that we're joking about here a month from now. Dad, we need to get back to college basketball. We need to put a bow on the Rebel season. Of course, they fell to Michigan State 73-70 in the Sweet 16. I watched the game up at the Fondren Yard up here. And there was a fantastic crowd full of Ole Miss fans. It was as close to, on that huge screen. Felt like, it was the next best thing to being at the game. And, it had those emotions the whole game. They were playing so well. And it was just one of those deals where kind of what happened to Iowa State in the second round against Ole Miss, it just felt like there was a cover on the basket for the Rebels in the last 3 minutes of the game. And then also Michigan State figured out they could drive it to the basket.
Starting with about 10 minutes to go in the game, they never took an outside shot. They
didn't need to.
And Floyd our friend Tim Floyd just called it. We're watching the game. He says Michigan State is not going to take another shot outside the paint. And guess what?
Yeah. Well, they didn't need to. I mean, it was there, and some of those were contested baskets, but boy, they seemed to make all of them. And it was just one of those things where they just kind of went cold offensively, right as Michigan State heated up.
Did you hear what the storied, highly successful basketball Hall of Fame coach Tom Izzo said after the game?
No.
He said, and this is a guy that plays in the Big Ten Conference and plays Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana twice every year. He said that was the toughest, most physical defensive team that he had faced he couldn't remember when.
Yeah. Well, they faced another tough one in the next round.
Yeah, they did. They did. And Auburn,
I would love to see if he revisited that after Auburn.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, I've been thinking the whole time that one of these SEC teams would win, Auburn or Tennessee.
No, man, it looks like Duke.
Florida. Yeah, Duke is, again, I keep quoting Tim Floyd, but he said they're an NBA team. They're an NBA. I mean, they're just terrific.
They are fantastic, and I think the only way to beat them is to play your best defensive game of the season, and it's going to have to come from one of these teams that has an incredible, somebody like Auburn who plays incredible defense.
And hope Cooper Flagg gets in foul trouble.
Right. I mean, it's just. They look like the best team. They are. I thought it was really interesting looking at this. There are no perfect brackets out there, but it's all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four. You rarely, I
can't remember it ever happening. I'm sure it has, but maybe it hadn't ever happened where all 4 number 1 seeds made the Final Four.
Yeah, it looks like so we're guaranteed to have an SEC team in that championship game because Auburn and Florida are tipping off at 5 p.m. Saturday to kick off the Final Four, and then Duke and Houston that night. I know you like Duke in the second game. Give me your pick for the first game.
Auburn.
You think Auburn's going to get Florida?
I think so. I mean, but it could go, obviously it could go either way. I just, I think in a game like that, you go with the team that has the best player, and I don't think I don't think there's any question who the best player in the game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I feel like I know that Florida got Auburn in the tournament, right? In the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously they're familiar with each other. I feel like Auburn is the better matchup for Duke, I just don't know. I just because of Broom. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll get in there. I think that would be a very worthy championship Monday night.
I agree. And Tyler, but let's get back to Ole Miss in just a minute, because I think, just yesterday, Chris Beard was named to one version of National Coach of the Year.
Yeah, it's collegeinsider.com.
Which is the Jim Phelan Award. And it is a fairly prestigious award. And it's nothing new for Chris, because he's been the National Coach of the Year before at Texas Tech. And that one was the Associated Press National Coach of the Year. I thought he did one of the best coaching jobs this season that I've ever witnessed in college basketball, because he took a team that really had only one inside presence. I mean, really.
Yeah, he got a lot out of Dia, though. I'm talking about.
He did get a lot out of Malik Dia, but that's you look at everybody else they were facing in the tournament. They had 2 or 3 of those, or 4.
Right.
Everybody, and he had one, and I just thought it was a masterful coaching job.
Yeah, he definitely got some great guard play, which is, what you're looking for come tournament time. I'm glad you mentioned him. There was a rumor swirling that he was up for the Indiana job, but as he gave I saw this statement last week, and I want to quote him here. He said, "We're at Ole Miss for a reason. We believe in this place. We love this place. We're just getting started. These are the early days in Oxford." So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. It's not quite Pine Box, but he apparently intends to stay at least for one more year, which is great news for Ole Miss, as long as they can hold on to him.
He's a ball coach. X's and O's, yes, he's got that, but more than that, he gets his players to play as if their mother's lives depended on the outcome.
Yeah. I guess the big task immediately is hitting that portal and trying to reassemble another team for next year, which you see the report swirling on that this guy's interested, or this guy may be in town for whatever.
He's got people coming in all week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get on that.
And there's some other credit that needs to be pointed out here, and that is that Ole Miss is supporting. I mean, his NIL money is
about to go up.
And it was all. Right. I mean, I'm
competitive. It was competitive.
It was over $5 million.
It's decent.
Yeah. So I think the future's really, really, really bright there. I saw yesterday where he got a one of the top point guards available in the portal, which was a big need because he's losing them all.
Right. Well, if he good luck replacing Padula. That guy, boy, he kind of lit it on fire there. Scored 24 in the loss the other day.
Every time they need a big bucket, it seemed like he was there.
It did. Kind of sorry to see this team go. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be the first to admit, I kind of undersold them. I thought
we both did. We both talked during on this podcast time after time during the year that we thought that really probably Mississippi State was the Mississippi
Well, they
team.
were the 2 times they met up. They were better. But, I feel like that was, in retrospect, more about matchups. And, and plus State was so streaky. I mean, if Hubbard was on and, got into a groove, they were as good as just about anybody, but they struggled to find scoring in other places when he wasn't on, and ultimately they doomed him in the tournament. Dad, I want to talk a little bit of college baseball before we get out of here. I know we got a lot of college baseball fans that listen to the podcast. Noticed Ole Miss is up to number 9. Took 2 or 3 from Florida and Oxford over the weekend. They're 21-6 overall. Man, they're just mashing the baseball. I don't know how much you've watched, but they have hit 55 homers, which is good enough for, I believe that's 9th in the country, and they average 8.4 runs a game. It's a good way to win baseball games.
Yep. I'm just kind of wondering where all those Ole Miss people are that wanted to get rid of Mike Bianco.
Well, I mean, it seems like clockwork every year. They're going to be preseason ranked somewhere between 20 and 30. By the midway point, they're going to be in the top 15. I'd be surprised if they don't rise a little bit more. They've got, I know they've got a big series this weekend at Kentucky. But man, you look at the way they're winning these ball games. They sure do slug the baseball. On the other end of the spectrum, you got Southern Miss, who's 13th in the country, according to D1Baseball.com. They took 2 or 3 from South Alabama over the weekend. They've got these big series this weekend at Marshall. But I mean, I was looking at their numbers. It's the pitching has been strong for them so far. Their WHIP is right up there. I mean, not as high as Mississippi State's. We'll get to them in a minute, but their strikeout to walk ratio.
As long as Ostrander's there, that strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, but that's with like 2 just big question mark games where they walked 6 or 7 guys. So I mean, it's been impressive down there on the pitching end. Kind of interested to see. I know Troy's up in the top 25 now. So
Coastal's
in there. So they got some competition in the series, and I know they don't play Coastal this year.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I know it is, but Troy beat Coastal, and they get a shot at Troy, so that gives them a leg up if they can continue to play well. Mississippi State, man, it's been a rough start to the SEC schedule. They're still 16-12 overall, but they got swept by LSU over the weekend, and that's their 3rd SEC series loss in a row to start the conference slate. 2 of those are sweeps. They did win 1 against Oklahoma, but it's pretty incredible because you look at their numbers and it doesn't really match up at all. They're averaging, I think it was their team WHIP, which is walks plus hits per innings pitched, is only 1.18, which is top 10 nationally. It's just, I guess the hitting just, has kind of been inconsistent, taken, had some bad at bats in there, in key situations that have kind of cost them. And it's not going to get any easier, you know what I mean?
Well, they have South Carolina.
I take it back. It is going to get a little easier.
Yeah, but
I know.
South Carolina's kind of where State is. They're better than what their record is, and they're going to come in there hungry. And
they are also 1-8 in SEC play, and they've played some really tough series. So I'm, and that's a proud program too. So they're going to be hungry to get off the map, but they got to come to Starkville to do it.
It's a big series for State.
It is.
And South Carolina.
And Chris Lamonis.
Yeah.
The echo is growing ever stronger. So we'll see. Dad, before we get out of here, I want to talk a little bit about the Saints signing Brandon Cooks. That's a big deal. They needed another weapon.
What is he, 30 or 31 years old?
30. The report says there's, quote, plenty left in the tank, which is, it seems like what they say about the Saints going into every season. So, not really sure what to expect other than, at least Derek Carr has at least one more guy to throw the ball to, at least for the time being, until he, gets a concussion in week 2. We'll see what just seems to be the way things are going.
It sure seems to me, Tyler, the more and more I read about it, is that they are really, really, really thinking about taking Jackson Dart in the first round, and I'm all for it.
Well, I saw the latest mock draft had them taking Quinn Ewers, but I mean,
why would you take Ewers over Dart?
I don't know. I mean, I can't.
One of them has a great arm, and one of them doesn't.
Yeah, well, and one of them, I mean, he can really run too.
The upside on Jackson Dart to me is way, way, way higher than Ewers, who's been a really great player for Texas. But
I'm not sure he was the best quarterback on their roster last year.
Well, he wasn't, but that's a story for another day.
Dad, let's see. Elsewhere, Coastal Carolina saw is breaking out free refreshments, free concessions at football games this fall. Of course, that does not include beer, but the patrons will be able to get up to 4 items with each concession visit. Do you think this will? I know they had I think they averaged 21,500 fans a game last year. Do you think this will help?
I think it absolutely will help. Now, whether it will keep them there for 4 quarters is another question.
Well, you got to play football. You got to play good football to keep them there for 4 quarters.
Yeah, they're giving it the old college try.
Yeah.
You got to hand it to them.
Well, I mean, I'm interested if this is maybe a trend. Maybe this is the start of a trend. I can totally see them going free beer in Baton Rouge in the next 2 or 3 years.
They don't need to in Baton Rouge.
How would that go? And what do you think the net loss would be on that if they were to hand out free beer? I mean, any SEC football stadium, especially that one.
I don't know. I remember when LSU was playing for a national championship. Maybe it was the year we went to New Orleans and watched them, and they would just fans would go from bar to bar and drink everything they had and then move on to the next bar.
I would think the price tag for something like that would I don't know if it would approach the $1 million mark. I would imagine. I mean, I think most teams do about $250,000 in concession sales. But I think if you were to give away free beer for 60 to 70,000 people, that would probably approach $1 million.
Oh, sure, yeah. Especially the way they drink down there.
They're gonna need multiple concession stands open at each gate. Dad, that's about all the time we got this week. What are you looking forward to the most this coming week?
Well, obviously the Final Four. I'm looking forward to it. I wish we still had a team in it, but we do have 2 SEC teams in it. So,
yeah. And an absolute world beater in Duke. And I mean, don't sleep on Houston, man. They're good too. They play such good defense. I mean, I was watching a montage of them, man. They switch like crazy.
He's a great coach, Kevin Sampson. He's been doing it a long time, and he can really, really coach.
Yeah, well, they got their work cut out for them against Duke, but I think both of the playing games will be pretty good.
You watch all 4 of these teams, and we've talked about it continuously here on this podcast, but defense travels, and boy, they all get after their ass.
They do. It's going to be
that Gator defense. Get after their ass.
That's awesome. Those are going to be good games this weekend. I am looking forward to watching some basketball, and I got to start doing my research for next week. It's almost Masters week. You can almost feel it. And we've got, surely we'll get Randy on next week, Randy Watkins, to talk about it. But man, the azaleas are blooming all over town, right? I mean, all over my yard, all over your yard, all over everyone's yard. And it just, every time I see it, it just clicks in the back of my head. It's time for that. So I'm already looking forward to next week. That's where I'm at. But I digress.
That makes 2 of us.
I know. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Y'all take it easy out there. Be safe if you're traveling.
Start safe, and please go vote today. But
they'll be hearing this tomorrow. So hopefully you all did your civic duties. I think Rick and I are off to do that right now.
Now.
All right, everybody have a good one out there. Be safe. We'll talk to you next week.